Thank you very much. Secretary Barisakan, as a distinguished guest and the corporate and the business association sponsors, as a delegate friends of Arrancada. My name is Takashi Ishigami, and I'm a president of Japanese Chamber of Commerce and Industry of the Philippines. It is a great pleasure to welcome Secretary Barisakan to deliver the keynote address at the third anniversary Arrancada Forum with the theme More Reform Equal More Job. Arrancada Philippines was published in December 2010 by the Joint Foreign Chamber based on the recommendation by 300 Philippine and foreign investors to encourage the expansion of 7 big winner sector through rapid, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth. Arrancada Philippines has become a reference documents for policies and programs for business and economic reform, as well as research. Since mid-2011, over 86,000 unique visitors from 169 countries have viewed the Arrancada website with over 325,000 page views. So, Mr. Secretary, the JFC has been privileged meet with you and NEDA senior staff on several occasions, and we appreciate NEDA's openness to the analysis and recommendation in Arrancada. We find numerous instances where Arrancada advocacies reflected in the Philippine Development Plan. And thank NEDA for being one of our most important partners in improving the policy foundation for the higher economic growth. At today's forum, we released the third anniversary assessment of the status of the implementation of 462 recommendations contained in Arrancada. The assessment was made by 31 private sector experts, has been distributed here today, and on the website www.arrancadaphilippines.com. The 2013 assessment results are quite encouraging. We believe they will support increased foreign direct investment, which has doubled to $4 billion in 2 years, and is building momentum. The 2013 assessment rates all recommendations on the basis of their degree of progress, including backward movement. In a summary, 73% of the recommendations have either started, made substantial progress, or been completed, while 27% has not. In the 2012 assessment, the comparable figures were 64% and 36% respectively, and in 2011 they were 51% and 49%. In 2012, we shared with the forum keynote speaker, President Aquino, our opinion that we share a goal to increase the 51% majority moving rating of the Arrancada recommendations, and reduce the 49% minority not rating. That is precisely what has happened over the last 2 years, moving up from 51% to 73% underway. We ask you to inform the president of this positive news. We have also seen good result in the solid improvement of the Philippines in closely watched global rankings. This morning, NCC co-chair for the private sector, Mr. Bill Luce, explained an ambitious target of moving into the top third in the global ranks by 2016. Such ambition inspires us, and we hope will motivate the entire country. We believe the Philippines is only beginning to catch up with its more developed neighbors. Malaysia, Thailand, and Indonesia overtook the Philippines in per capita income and inclusive growth some time ago. One important factor in their growth not present in the Philippines is high FDI levels. There seems to be no debate that the impressive 7.2% GDP growth in 2013 has been insufficiently inclusive and adequately job creating. We recommend that NEDA review the Alankada recommendations that are rated as not ongoing or backward regression and consider what step can be taken to move these over to the positive side. We see such weaker rating in the sections on the airport, seaport, mining, and tourism. Inclusive growth can be accomplished through more and better jobs created by the private sector. And the role of the government is to fully enable the private sector in this regards. So far, this has not sufficiently happened, as shown by the low level at 21% of the fixed capital formation in the country, which should be closer to 30%. Most of reform that will further enable to private sector to create these jobs discussed in the Philippine Development Plan, Alankada, the World Bank creating more and better jobs, and elsewhere. We support government effort to implement these reforms, but recommended faster pace. Allow me just mention a few reforms that would have positive effects. Number one, speeding up PPP implementation. Number two, modernizing airport. Number three, developing a domestic economic export zone to host labor incentive light industry in the poorer regions. Number four, reducing non-working holidays. Number five, reducing restriction on the foreign investment. And number six, cutting unneeded taxes, fees, and the rules that burden the business. This is a very short list. Many more are discussed in the assessment. The pace of reform should not just continue, but should accelerate to assure that growth will be high, inclusive, and sustainable. There is no guarantee in any country that the successor administration will be committed to reform. The Philippines has experienced backsliding in the governance before. If inclusive growth occurs, the world will continue to notice the Philippines as its old image of a weak country with persistence of poverty is replaced with that of a rising tiger and empowered people with more and better job. Our keynote speech on the strategy of the administration to achieve inclusive growth could not be more timely. Dr. Arsenio Marisecan is Socioeconomic Planning Secretary and the Director General of the National Economic and Development Authority, NEDA, Secretary Barikasen, has long been one of the country's top economists and recognized expert in Asia on the poverty, food security, agriculture, and rural development. Immediately before moving to NEDA in May 2012, he was Dean of the School of Economics at the University of the Philippines. Mr. Secretary, we greatly look forward to your keynote address. Thank you very much.
I'm honored to speak on behalf of President Aquino today. Allow me to share with you his message for this occasion. Let me begin. I've always found it interesting that this forum is called Arrancada Philippines because it sounds like a resounding call to the country to accelerate our country on the path or our journey on the path to prosperity. In the past 3 years and 8 months, we have been able to do just that. From being branded as the sick man of Asia and being considered our region's economic laggard, the Philippines has turned the corner. Today, international organizations and publications the world over have heralded the resurgence of our nation and thus referring to us as Asia's bright spot and as the new Asian tiger, among many other positive remarks. As president, I could say that the Philippines has been in the business of meeting and often defying expectations in recent years. At a time when major economies are working overtime to stay afloat, our country, as you all know, was marked investment grades by the 3 major credit rating agencies in the world. In 2010, we were dead last in terms of profitability in ASEAN. Today, as reported by the Japan External Trade Organization, we rank second in the Asian 5, only next to Thailand. The latest World Economic Forum Global Competitiveness Ranking places us at 59th place, which means in the past 3 years, we have jumped 26 spots in terms of global competitiveness. Furthermore, we recorded a marked improvement in the World Bank and the International Finance Corporation's Ease of Doing Business report, moving up 30 places in just 1 year. In the same span, the Heritage Foundation moved us 8 notches up in their 2014 Index of Economic Freedom, placing us 89th out of 178 countries. These successes are on top of the fact that our economy grew by 7.2% in the previous year, despite the many disasters that befell our nation. We were able to endure the challenges set before us precisely because we had the wherewithal to truly take care of our people, while at the same time making sure that growth was not only sustained, but also made even more just and inclusive. This is what good governance is all about. By adhering to sound management principles, by doing right by our people, and by bearing in mind the interests of our bosses, we created the necessary fiscal and political space that has allowed us to empower our countrymen and institutions to work hand in hand in addressing the seemingly endless stream of disasters we had to face. Good governance means ridding the system of corruption, leveling the playing field, and strengthening the foundations of a culture of cooperation and transparency, one that fosters trust and promotes collective engagement. one that sees growth as a collective aspiration rather than as a privilege for a powerful few. It is about building on our momentum to enable more of our countrymen to live more productive and dignified lives, and to help survivors rise up and take hold of their destinies once more, so that they themselves may hold the doors of opportunity open for their fellow men. It is about identifying the correct answers to the problems and encouraging more people to be part of the solution. It is about bequeathing a nation built back better after disasters and many years of misgovernance. The revitalization our nation experiences today is not a fluke. It's the result of our people's collective commitment to tread the straight path to progress. And the successes we have reaped these past few years only excite us all the more, as we continue to fulfill our nation's potential and as we work to keep the dynamo of development engaged at full throttle. We know for a fact that our growth rests on the ever-expanding capacity of our people to be active partners in building a nation where no Filipino is left behind. For this reason, my administration and I will continue to work undaunted by the challenges, keeping in mind that when we speak of Arrancada, we speak of a national advancement that will redound to the benefit of every Filipino. It is with this confidence and optimism that I invite all of you, having witnessed what the Philippines is capable of achieving, to continue to work with us towards greater success. With your help, I believe we can accelerate the growth of the Philippines and make development more robust, sustainable, and truly inclusive. Let us continue to ride the tide of genuine progress, answering the resounding call to lift this nation towards even greater heights. Thank you and good day. End of the speech. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Secretary Balisacan. And now to deliver the concluding remarks, may we call on the President of the American Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines, Mr. Rick Jennings.
Good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Secretary, friends of the Arrancada, distinguished guests, corporate and business association sponsors, forum delegates, my name is Rick Jennings, and I am the President of the American Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Secretary, on behalf of the Joint Foreign Chambers and from all the forum participants, including those watching on our webcast, I thank you for joining the third anniversary forum and for making the excellent keynote address. We certainly appreciate and can respect celebrating the many successes, including the competitiveness rankings, the hope of nation building, and what's needed to further lift the country as we move ahead. In closing our third anniversary forum, there are many to thank and several conclusions to share. Allow me to acknowledge and to express appreciation for our outstanding speakers. Now, if you can save your applause to the end, I also want to just share our prayers and best wishes to the Chief Justice, Serrano, for her speedy recovery. We're sorry that she could not join us today. We are very pleased, Secretary Balisacan, that you are here today and gave us such a hopeful message from the President. Thank you, sir. As always, Secretary Singsong, you are one of the stars of the Aquino administration. Your stand on good governance is inspiring, and we appreciate all the efforts that have been taken. We're excited about the infrastructure developments that are to come. So thank you, sir, for that. We also appreciate our good friend, Director General Lilia de Lima. We congratulate her on receiving our second Arrancada Lifetime Achievement Award. And as always, celebrating the 19th year of PEZA, and the fact that that over that time that they have created 1 million jobs. And as we've heard many times over, particularly from Mr. Bill Luce, PEZA is the agency to model after. And so she has certainly been a big success with over 800 PEZA locations across the country. We certainly enjoyed the comments from former Secretary Sir Bobby DeCampo. He treated us to wise and witty commentary. He talked about charter change, agriculture and mining reform, energy investment, and Clark, among other comments. We heard from National Competitiveness Council co-chair, Mr. Bill Luce. Bill, we always love hearing from you. The champion you are at lifting the ratings of the country, and the results that you've achieved have been staggering. You are a true visionary. You give us hope. You lift our spirits. Thank you for gracing us and again showing us an outstanding report card for the country. We heard from our U.S. Embassy Director, Chief of Mission, Brian Goldbeck, and the U.S. government through USAID has helped to support all of the efforts of the Joint Foreign Chambers. So we thank Brian for his time here, his comments about his support for reforms leading to more jobs. We appreciated having Dr. Roger Vanderbrink with us from the World Bank and sharing his comments, again, on creating more and better jobs. I hope you hear the theme here. We certainly appreciate having our top media personalities. We heard from Coco Aquaz, David Seldron, and Maria Ressa. They're very good at asking the right questions and also at managing time. So thank you very much for being with us. And of course, our 9 panelists who were very engaging. I think one of the most engaging panel discussions that we've had. So it wouldn't have been possible without their support. I think one of the comments I heard over and over again is we need more power. So Dan, thank you for your comments on that. And then, of course, we had 31 experts who reviewed the progress of the ARENCADA, the 471 recommendations, and we're hearing now that we're up from 65% to 72% moving forward, and that's the way we need to be moving. Finally, we thank the members of the media that are here today. You play a very critical role in job creation because you're the ones who share the message of the ARENCADA. So we appreciate your support, and of course, at the end of this, we will have a press conference just here in front to speak to our friends from the media. I want to thank my JFC Joint Foreign Chambers colleagues who spoke today, for the staff of AmCham, for the ARENCADA Philippines project, Team Asia. They all spent many, many hours pulling this forum together. I want to thank especially our leader, father of the ARENCADA, Mr. John Forbes. And let's give everyone a big hand of applause. So just, if I may, just a few comments. And of course, today I want to thank all of the participants. We had 650 registered participants, a record. And, but I do want to thank you all for being here. Make sure to email any comments to forum@arencadaphilippines.com. So finally, a few last words. So all speeches that you've heard will be posted on our website. Video will also be on the website for from the forum. In his message to us, President Aquino wished us all an engaging and productive forum, and has stated, "May your ideas create actionable initiatives to ensure that our reforms lead to better education of our students, secure and stable employment for our workers, greater innovation and for industries, and for a brighter future for our country." Mr. President, I guarantee you that we will take action, and we're committed to further success. So in closing, I want to highlight these conclusions. Poverty, unemployment, and underemployment remain stubbornly high in the Philippines. Sustained and inclusive economic growth and strong educational and health systems are prerequisites to reduce poverty. High economic growth of 8% and above in the Philippines will require high levels of sustained investment in the economy, including foreign direct investment, transfer of technology that comes with FDI, maximizing the potential of the big winner sectors. At present, ICT is moving at the strongest pace, followed by tourism with its manufacturing pickup. Intensified actions are needed to speed up the growth of agribusiness, creative industries, infrastructure, and mining. Finally, foreign direct investment will be attracted to the Philippines by good infrastructure, availability of an educated workforce and accessible natural resources, sound economic and pro-government policies, international competitive costs, particularly in the areas of power and energy, a judicial environment with consistent, timely, and enduring decisions, corrupt-free governance and commercial practices, and finally, safety for persons and security for investments in physical assets. None of these conclusions are new revelations. They are all achievable, and none are realistic aspirations for the Philippines to have and to expect. In today's global context, with the right political, economic, and business leadership, the Philippines has an extraordinary opportunity. The Philippines can move forward twice as fast and realize the potential with more reforms, create more jobs. Thank you. Salamat po.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jennings, and thank you once again to all of our participants, speakers, moderators, panelists, and friends from the media. This concludes the third Arrancada Philippines Forum. On behalf of the Joint Foreign Chambers, thank you for joining us.
Can I make an announcement, please, Monette, just a moment before the press conference and before everybody leaves? I know that you expected a copy of the assessment. We have your copy of the assessment here in Makati. It's hot off the press, but it has not been bound. We cannot give it to you as loose leaf sheets. I promise you it exists, and you are entitled to a copy as a participant in this. So we have your email addresses, and we will be coming up with a plan on distribution. And wait, read your email. We will inform you on our plans to distribute it. In the meantime, if you don't want to wait for that, you can find it on the website. A digital copy has been posted already. If you go to www.arrancadaphilippines.com/forum, www.arrancadaphilippines.com/forum, and we will send you that information. You can find a copy on the website. And we look forward to the presence of the Joint Foreign Chambers. Please remain for the press conference. Presence of the Joint Foreign Chambers, please remain for the press conference, and the media will come forward to the tables in front of the stage, please. Thank you very, very much, and we'll see everyone at the next Arrancada Forum, February 26th to Thursday, 2015.
Thank you very